What is going on, everybody? Today we are taking a look at the rear-wheel drive Model 3. This is the cheapest Tesla you can buy right now, and arguably, in my opinion, this is the best value Tesla you can buy right now by a wide margin. And the main reason I'm saying that, we're going to go over this car, we're going to look through it and check out what it's got, what it's missing, what I've noticed at least compared to, say, a long-range Model 3, which has some more premium stuff, or a long-range Model Y. But the main thing that has kind of blown me away here is, number one, it's a Tesla still. You still get all the advantages of the Supercharger network. You still get to charge at home. You get to save on gas, all those things. But the range is less. Now, that's usually kind of the biggest thing you're paying for, right? The max range at 100% on this is 273 or 74 miles at 100%, compared to, say, the long-range Model 3, which gets you closer to 350 miles. But here's the difference between those two stats that's a bit misleading. So on this car, you get LFP battery cells, which actually want you to charge them to 100% whenever you want, daily, whatever. And that helps keep them healthy and balanced and all of those things. Whereas on the long-range Model 3, you get the lithium-ion cells. And don't get me wrong, lithium-ion and that chemistry has its benefits as well. But these LFP cells should last a really long time. And on the lithium-ion, you're only charging to 90% daily. So now your range difference is coming down to more about 50 miles of range for an extra $10,000 about to jump up to that long-range model, not including any other things you may change with the car. So you're going to pay an extra $10K for 50 miles more of daily range. Now, if you need that extra range, of course, you can charge to 100% on the lithium-ion cells whenever you need it, but you don't want to let the car sit like that. You don't want to do it all the time because it's just not good for those cells, and they will degrade faster if you do that. It is worse for them. So that's really cool. You can just charge this to 100% daily, so your daily range is really not that dramatically different. Now, if you need it, you need it. But for most people, 270 miles a day, or let's say 250 if you're doing all highway driving, that is plenty of range for a daily if you can charge once a day. Now, the other advantage here, this is a rear-wheel drive Tesla, so you only have in the rear, you don't have a motor up here, and that makes the efficiency, along with having less batteries in it, huge. I mean, the efficiency in this thing is crazy. My first drive with it, when I drove it home, I was getting around 200 watt-hours per mile, something like that, and that included some highway driving where I reached 80 miles per hour briefly. Insane. For comparison, my Model Y will be in that same scenario closer to maybe 300 or so, maybe 290 watt-hours per mile. And my old Model 3, my 2018, again, this is a 2022, my 2018 Model 3 long range would also probably be closer to 270 or so, or maybe 260 watt-hours per mile in the same scenario. So efficiency is also off the charts, so you're going to be spending less per mile to drive this thing. So this car has actually blown me away. You still got the Tesla acceleration. It's not a Plaid, it's not a long range, it's not a, you know, performance Model 3 or anything, but it's still quick. I mean, you're still going to be quicker than a lot of cars on the road. It'll get you where you need to go. All of the, you know, electric benefits of like the throttle being instant are there, so that's awesome. And just overall, like driving this thing home, I was like, wow, like besides the range being a bit less and the acceleration not kind of pushing me back in my seat a crazy amount, this car is really nice. The inside was quiet. You still have the double paned glass. If you look here on the car, I was kind of surprised by this, but you still have that double paned glass on here to help with insulation, whether that be noise insulation or heating and cooling insulation, things like that. You have the benefits of the heat pump. You still have the all glass roof. I did get the white interior in this one, mostly because that's what was available. I didn't want to wait for the black interior. These are kind of hard to get. I have no idea what happened. I ordered it and then Tesla was like, yeah, it's ready, like I think 2 months later or something. So I got really lucky, I guess. I tried to ask, but I don't know. They said something to do with my region. I mean, that was really all I could get out of them. But so yeah, why did I buy this car? If you've been watching the channel for a while, you're probably like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Like now he's got 3 sitting in his driveway. I'm going to try to put this on, I put it on Turo, and I want to try the whole Turo thing. Now, pretty much every time I mention that, there's kind of a lot of responses, a lot of negativity. Like, oh my gosh, you're crazy, or like, that's terrible, your car's gonna get destroyed, you're gonna lose all your money, which I find strange. I don't know why people are so like, you know, excited to attack the Turo thing. And then I also get a decent amount of positive responses, people who are successful on Turo, but anyway, that's not what this video is about. I'll do a whole series, share my experience totally. You'll see if I fail and fall flat on my face and, you know, lose thousands of dollars, or if it's successful and I can make some money doing it. But I wanted to give it a try. It's something that I think is interesting and can be fun and be some extra income possibly for me. So I'm going to try it and I will share that experience. But let's go through this car. I want to show you some of it and talk about it some more. Okay, so walking up to the car, you still have, I mean, pretty much the main things you're used to with a Tesla. You have phone key, so my phone is already paired up. It's locked now. I just open it. It automatically unlocks. As you can see, white interior, so as far as the quality of the seats, it's the exact same as what you're going to find in the long range. Things like the center screen are going to be exactly the same, although the Performance Model 3 will get you the Ryzen chip, so you'll get a bit faster there. All right, breaking news, I have to interrupt myself. This actually does have the AMD Ryzen chip. Like, what? Can I switch this for my Model Y? So my Model Y long range doesn't even have that. When I got my Model Y, it was only going into the performance vehicles, or it might have been even before the Ryzen. But either way, I thought it was only going to performance vehicles, and this has the AMD Ryzen chip. So that is awesome. It does not seem that there's data, though, in the center console because Sonic and some of the other controller games are missing, which is indicative that they have not put that back yet. So that's crazy awesome. I didn't really notice, like, the Tesla screens work so well. I didn't notice too much. I think that the frame rate is probably still the same as like the Model Y and the Model 3. But yeah, that's again more value right there. You still get the Ryzen chip, so things like, you know, Netflix or whatever are going to load up super fast. So let's check it out really quick. Okay, so I'm going to click Netflix and we'll see how fast this pops up. Now, it's the first time I'm ever opening it. Boom, it's open. Let's go to my Model Y really quick and see what it looks like. All right, so we're in theater. We're just going to click this, Netflix, and we'll see how long it takes. You can compare it to the Model 3. I mean, I know it takes a minute because I use it occasionally. Yeah, pretty sure at this point the 3 was already up. This is crazy. So this Model 3 is, you know, I got full self-driving on my Model Y. This Model 3 is what, about $20,000 cheaper than the Model Y. And this is the difference you're getting. You get that Ryzen chip in there. That is, look at this. This is crazy. Like, that took so long. And this car I've logged in. I've used it before. Oh, and theater is currently unavailable anyway. So, like, what the heck? Check your internet connection. I'm literally connected to Wi-Fi. So, yeah, but you can see how long that took to boot up. That took forever. Yeah, that's crazy. Steering wheel is going to be exactly the same. All of this, you have the metal scroll wheels here. The pedals are the same. I mean, the performance comes with the different looking pedals, but I don't know, who cares about that? You can get some pedals on Amazon for 10 bucks or whatever if you want. You still have your wireless phone charger built in here. You still have all of this storage. So there's a lot of storage in here. You have your USB-C, although now they're coming as only power. They don't have data in those, which is, you know, unfortunate because they also will not come with games, but that's the same as the long range. So that's not really, you're not missing out coming from the long range. And then this storage is all the same. There's no more, you know, kind of included basket or anything in there, but that's been like that for a while. We have the updated doors in here. I don't know how long they've been like this. I have not been in a Tesla with these, but yeah, so you have that kind of goes across the door. I like it. I think it looks great. I know some people don't like that, but I think it looks good. And then here I found kind of interesting on my Model Y white interior. This is all white, but in the whole car, this is Alcantara, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually like it better. I think that material probably also helps with road noise a little bit. This car was really quiet. It did have a rattle or two that I couldn't find on the dirt roads, but overall, it was very quiet. Now, in the rear-wheel drive, you will not get floor mats. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the long range does come with floor mats, but standard range does not. So you want to order those ahead of time. I forgot and did not do that. So those are coming now. Coming around to the front of the car, again, I mean, everything is pretty similar to what you're going to get in the other ones. You don't have, now this front is way smaller. I had the Model 3 before. We had the heat pump and the front was bigger, so this is like kind of tiny to me. But this doesn't have any kind of mat on here. I don't believe any of the Model 3s come with a mat. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, you don't get any mat in the rear-wheel drive, the kind of standard range rear-wheel drive, whatever you want to call it. Tesla calls this the rear-wheel drive now. They don't call it standard range. And so it just comes bare like this. So if you want, you don't really need anything in here, but you can add something in there if you'd like. But besides that, the only other thing I noticed is these weird things, and I'm not sure. I heard somebody on Twitter was saying that these are for like noise and vibration and helping with that. It kind of looks like for water to me, but I don't know how this would stop any water. I'm not sure. It would just move it over here, so I don't know what that would be for, but I haven't seen those before. So those were on the standard range. The frunk, I don't know, it feels really easy to use. I'm not sure if it's just because it's slightly smaller than on my, you know, the Model X and the Model Y, but it feels super easy to use. Tires, I just got Aero, of course. You get the best range and efficiency with these. Now they do come with these Hanuk, whatever, however you say that. They come with these tires, and this was a tiny bit controversial because people are saying these are not as good as what used to come with the car. And like some people are like, I don't know if it's rated for the load. I can't imagine Tesla's going to be putting tires on that are not going to carry the car around. So I don't know, that's fine. They sounded fine to me. Road noise was normal. I didn't really notice, so I don't care. I'm fine with that. You still get your repeaters, and your blind spot camera does pop up when you turn on your blinker. I mean, to be honest, I could see Tesla, I could have seen them making that like a paid option for the standard range or the rear wheel drive, but they didn't, so that's nice. Paint looks really good. All the panel gaps are like pretty much perfect. They were telling me at delivery that now when the threes come in, they don't spend as much time looking them over as they used to because they've just been coming out with such good quality. And that kind of made me nervous at first because I was like, oh, now I got to do the work of looking around. And I tried to be pretty picky, and I really could not find anything in terms of panel gaps. Now, it's not something I really care about anyway, but I tried to be picky because of that, you know, one little sentence. And I mean, everything on the car just looks great. It looks perfect. So coming around to the trunk here, it's this, you know, standard Model 3 trunk, really nothing special here. It did come with a charging cable. I don't know why. I don't know if I ordered in the time or I accidentally selected it. I really don't think I did. So I got the charging cable with it, with NEMA 515, a normal wall outlet there. So that's included. It was for me. It's not supposed to be. I don't know why it was in there, but it was. And then you get the sub trunk. That's for the front license plate. Don't need that in Michigan. And yeah, so the trunk's the same. And you also get the powered trunk, which my long range Model 3 2018 didn't have this. So we can click this button. It gives you a beep and it'll automatically close. Like, that's awesome. I wasn't expecting that. I kind of thought, again, you would get kind of gypped on that, getting the, you know, the standard range. You click the button, it opens itself. So that's really nice. We do need to see that on the front, in my opinion. Checking out the back seats, again, nothing too special here. You get your 2 USB-C ports that are still back there. Those are power only. They are not for data. You have the same thing with the doors, just normal doors, nothing too special. You have Alcantara here. Now, something you are missing, I'm looking at the speaker reminding me, the sound system, it has less speakers. It's not as good as the long range, but I didn't notice. I am not an audiophile at all in any capacity, so it's not something I would expect to notice personally, but I didn't notice anything. I tried to play some music when I was driving it and all that, and it looked good. I mean, it sounded good. It sounded fine. Like, I don't know, it sounded similar to my Model Y long range. I didn't really notice anything different. Excuse the air conditioning noise, but you also have heated steering wheel, which I do have in my 2021 Model Y, but did not have in my long range 2018 Model 3, and heated wipers. I wish I had that. I don't have that in my long range 2021 Model Y. So that value is there. And then you still have heated seats. You have automatic heated seats here for both the front passenger and the driver. And then you do get your rear heated seats as well, which this was actually a paid option for a short amount of time for the standard range Model 3, but now it comes standard, I guess. So yeah, you can use heated seats for all passengers. Like, the value, it's just value everywhere. So overall, having now driven, I've driven a long range Model 3 2018, so overall, having driven now a 2018 long range Model 3, 2021 long range Model Y, a 2022 long range Model X, and a 2022 rear wheel drive Model 3. I actually have owned those vehicles and used them daily. I am kind of blown away by the value here. Now, the other kind of big disadvantage, or it's not even that big of a disadvantage, but a disadvantage is supercharging. So this car maxes out, and home charging, I should mention, I suppose. Supercharging on this car maxes out around 170 kilowatts or so versus the 250 kilowatts you'll get on the other Tesla vehicles. But keep in mind, you don't stay above 250 or even 200 very long in any of them. And you don't even stay above 170 all that long. In fact, a few years ago, 125, when I first got my long range Model 3, 125 kilowatts was the max charging rate at superchargers. We then got a software update that brought us to 150 kilowatts as the max charging rate. So this rear-wheel drive Model 3 is still above those older things that we had just a few years ago of our max charging rate. So you get to 170, it'll charge a bit slower, but on something like a road trip, again, if you're traveling on that lower half of the battery, if you know what I'm talking about, the car charges a lot faster in the first 50%, like 0 to 50 than 50 to 100. If you're traveling on that, I really don't think it would add much charging time to your trips. If you're going to take a lot of road trips and you're trying to decide between, you know, this car or a bigger battery, go to a better route planner and put in your routes that you want to take and kind of compare that way and see how much longer it would take. But I don't think it would be that much. Now, at home charging, the max charging speed of all the other Teslas is 48 amps. The rear wheel drive, the max charging speed is 32 amps. Now, if you're using the mobile charger, that's the same. You're not going to get any more charging off of a long range at home versus the rear wheel drive with the mobile charger. That's capped at 32. But if you get the wall connector or another charger, then you can charge at home slightly faster with those other vehicles. At home charging, mobile charger, mobile connector is going to be the same. If you get the wall connector or you know, another charger, it will be slightly faster on the other vehicles, but again, overnight you're not going to notice the difference. I'm almost done here because it's really hot. I'm sweating and the GoPro is overheating too, but anyway, let me turn this up a little bit. yeah, so charging, and then one more thing, the LFP batteries, from my understanding, are worse in the winter. So if your battery gets cold soaked, like you leave it overnight and it gets super cold, I think below freezing, then when you go to charge, the charging rate is going to be pretty slow. And so it's going to take more time for you to get up to a certain charge. But you can mitigate that by just charging right when you, like if you go to a supercharger, the battery will be ready, like it'll condition itself. If you plug in and charge shortly after you get home, like within a few hours or within even probably 6 or 7 hours, then the battery will still have some warmth in there and charge fine. But that's another thing to look out for. If you're in a really cold climate, then your charging could be slowed if your battery gets too cold. So overall, again, I gotta say, I was pretty blown away by the value of this vehicle. If you really want a Tesla and this is, you know, affordable, and then going to the long range is like, oh, I really want that range, but I can't afford it, or it'd be kind of dumb, I don't want to stretch my budget, I believe you'll be happy with this car, especially charging to 100% all the time. And you know, I don't know, just like the supercharger network and everything, like you're still getting a lot of value in this car. It's not taking away much compared to the long range, besides some of that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about this Tesla, this Model 3 standard range or whatever, leave those down below. I'd be happy to answer those, and you will see me, and maybe probably not this Tesla, in the next video.